Good morning and thank you for joining us today. Last week I had the honor of representing Savannah in our nation's capital at the 90th annual meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Washington, D.C. This gathering gave me another good opportunity not only to advocate for our great city, but to also share ideas and learn new things with colleagues of mine from cities both large and small. It was also exciting to hear President Biden's passion and respect for the work that mayors do, evidenced by the number of former mayors in his cabinet. Our city was also very well represented in Atlanta over the weekend at the City Summit sponsored by the Georgia Municipal Association. And so this was our council's opportunity to connect and fellowship, learn with our counterparts in Georgia's other 537 some odd cities and with members of the Georgia General Assembly. But nothing compares to being back home in Savannah, and we are back focused, ready to work. Chatham County's 7-day rolling average of new cases has finally started to decline slightly, down from a high of 778 on January 19th to 673 yesterday. Our community transmission index, however, is up from last week when we just crossed 3,000 to 3,286 yesterday, and that is slightly down from 3,400 on January the 21st. About 35% of the COVID tests are coming back positive, which is down slightly, but it's still a significant increase from the low single-digit positivity rate we saw in December. The good news in this is that the numbers are slowly improving as we expected, and at this point, Chatham County COVID hospitalizations remain relatively low and starting to flatten out. We remind folks, if you need a free COVID test, the Coastal Health District testing site at the Savannah Civic Center is open weekdays from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on the first and third Saturday of each month from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The drive-through testing site in West Chatham on the Georgia Tech Savannah campus is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. You must pre-register for testing at covidtestsavannah.org, covidtestsavannah.org, or by calling 912-230-9744, 912-230-9744. As you all know, we are also emerging from an unusually cold weekend, and while we ask our citizens to hunker down and stay warm, I'm reminded and could not forget the many members of our Savannah family who did not have roofs over their head and were left to the harsh elements. So while we continue to aggressively work through our systemic homelessness issues, both chronic and transitional, I think there are things that we can do now to help our roofless neighbors during extreme weather. So I am proposing and actively working on opening Savannah's first extreme weather shelters, warming and cooling and severe weather centers as temporary locations to house people in the event of frigid days, ridiculously hot days, or in cases of severe weather. These centers would be open in strategic locations throughout our city, and as we farm this out, details will be announced as they become available. We have to be concerned about folks, and so this is an opportunity to do what we can to make the space available so folks don't have to worry about cold weather or very hot weather or extreme weather. It's the humane thing to do while we still work on our homeless challenges. I think that we can show some compassion and care during some very immediate circumstances. This morning, I'm also very excited to announce that we will be opening the Enmark Arena on February the 5th. February the 5th, for what we're calling Community Day. It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. We will not only finally open up our beautiful new Enmark Arena, it makes sense for us to make sure that before we open it for anybody else, we open it up for our community. And so we want our community to see their arena, and we want them to see it before the world sees it. And so this will be a day of fun and family and community as residents all over Savannah and Chatham County, because SPLOST did pay for this, have the opportunity to enjoy the first official event in our remarkable new facility. And so this Community Day will feature a variety of activities for the whole family, including live music from local bands, carnival-style games, in-market, self-guided tours, activities, food, and for the kids and more. The event will begin on Saturday, February the 5th at 2 p.m. With a ribbon cutting, but everyone is welcome to stop by anytime until 6 p.m. Next week on February the 2nd, Savannah's Revenue Department will partner with Human Resources to host a job fair from 9 a.m. until noon at the Coastal Georgia Center located at 305 Farm Street. Interviews will be conducted on the spot, and we have numerous opportunities available. We want you to stay tuned for more job fairs ahead as the city works to add the right pieces to the puzzle to keep our ambitious goals moving forward. So if you want to work for the city of Savannah, here's your opportunity to do so. Last week, President Biden announced a new coalition that the city of Savannah has joined in with cities and states from across the nation. The Building Performance Standards Coalition is a first-of-its-kind partnership between 33 state and local governments dedicated to delivering cleaner, healthier, and more affordable buildings. Almost 20% of the nation's building footprint is represented in the coalition's jurisdictions. This partnership facilitates new commitments to design and implement building performance standards at the state and local level, create good-paying union jobs, lower energy bills for consumers, keeping residents and workers safe from harmful pollution, and cutting emissions from the building sector. And so the announcement builds upon the U.S. Department of Energy's efforts to upgrade 1 million homes, the city of Savannah's effort to reach 100% clean energy in Savannah, and works toward President Biden's goal to retrofit 4 million buildings and 2 million homes during his first term. So exciting progress is being made, and Savannah remains a leader not only in the state, but across the country among our fellow cities. This week, I also met again with the St. Patrick's Parade Committee and others involved in the St. Patrick Savannah experience. And so at this point, again, based on our trends and numbers, we anticipate that the conditions are still favorable to host the 2022 St. Patrick's Day Parade, but we also see this year as an awesome opportunity to dramatically reset and reimagine the St. Patrick's Day experience to something that is more authentic, more local, and more family friendly. I think we've all watched St. Patrick's Day become something that we just don't want to be representative of Savannah. And so this is an opportunity for us to really help to reset that into something that is much more representative of our community. So still a whole lot of fun, but just in a different way. And so we hope to release more details with our partners later this week, most likely tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll also have our first evening meeting of the 2022 City Council calendar. During our workshop, we'll hear a presentation about the proposed removal of the I-16 exit ramp flyover above Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And so this discussion has the potential to lead to a further revitalization of this great corridor in our city. During the regular meeting, we will honor the mighty 8th Air Force with a proclamation celebrating the 80th anniversary of its founding on January the 28th, 2022, which took place in an armory located just south of Forsyth Park. The address of that was 1108 Bull Street. We will also consider approval of the First Amendment to the in-market arena operating agreement, which specifies additional services provided by the Oakview Group that are integral to the successful operation of the arena. Services include parking management, waterworks, park management, sponsorship sales on the site of the former city lot facilities, the addition of a bunker club, which is a new $1.6 million club suite that will be funded upfront by OVG, and a city suite. In addition, we will consider a contract for lights along Cedar Street with Georgia Power in the amount of $29,758. This purchase is for 7 decorative light fixtures that will match the lights installed for the Savannah Shines project and will run along Cedar Street from the Lesseps Avenue to East 60th Street Lane. Happening later this week, the Savannah Interagency Diversity Council is helping to educate our community and stop human trafficking through the 7th annual Traffic Jam Conference on January 28th and 29th. The SIDC is excited to bring together experts in their respective fields to provide information for professionals in law enforcement, mental health, social work, education, and the general public. And so for more conference information, you can call 912-398-1343, 912-398-1343, or email info.thesidc@gmail.com, info.thesidc@gmail.com, or look on our city's website. On a final note, I am pleased to share that our residents traveling along President Street will now experience a smoother ride over the rail crossing. I experienced this yesterday. This was a culmination of a great partnership between the City of Savannah, Chatham County, and WATCO, the rail operator. It's important to note that the work was completed according to the announced schedule, which minimized traffic impacts. So if you get a chance, ride by there, and it's a much different experience. Instead of boom, it's like right over it. So that ends my prepared remarks. Chief Mentor is here. I know we've had some violent incidents. Again, we don't minimize those happening. I believe the chief released the details they had to this point, and so as I understand it, there's really nothing else further they have to add at this point. I like the team we have on the field. Savannah Police Department, awesome, and they're out there making it happen. And they're making it happen because they have a community that trusts them and is willing to work with them. So that part of our strategy is working. So thank you. No questions? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, you kind of touched on it at the beginning. I know I did a story earlier this week with Dr. Thacker at Memorial, and he was talking about how their hospitalizations have come down, you know, from where they were. Obviously, you have to be pleased with the direction in some areas of where the COVID numbers are right now, right?
I am. Again, you have to look at your current numbers, but I think more importantly, you have to look at trends. You know, because we're looking like, again, as we forecasted before, that Omicron was easier to catch, but the duration was much shorter. And so what we're seeing is that huge spike, but like we saw in South Africa, that it came down dramatically. We're seeing that in New York City now. The numbers have come down dramatically. So testing has gone down. And so we're looking at the same trends starting to happen here. We believe that it'll start leveling off and going down. So when we're looking at events happening in March right now, hence why we're saying that given the current trends that we will be in a much better position almost a month and a half from now.
And you know, one follow-up, you mentioned as of now the St. Patrick's Day parade is to go. There was some more good news yesterday by the Atlanta Braves, where they announced that they're bringing the championship trophy to the St. Patrick's Day parade. That kind of speaks volumes that they would take that effort and bring that trophy down to take part in that parade.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it also shows, again, the viability of our city across the state. You know, hence before it was Atlanta. Well, the Atlanta market in terms of the Braves and the Falcons and the Thrashers is also Savannah. And so it's showing our connectivity to the rest of the state. A huge honor to be able to have that trophy here in Savannah. And so we're hoping that we'll be able to facilitate that. Again, right now, the conditions are looking very favorable towards that. We just encourage our citizens, again, do what we've been doing. Wear your mask, wash your hands, watch your distance, get vaccinated, get boosted. We know that people who are vaccinated and boosted are less likely to be sick, much less likely to be hospitalized, and much less likely to die. And so if we're able to do that, we hopefully are looking at better days ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
Savannah still needs to discuss what projects they want funded if T-SPLOST gets approved. When is the city going to discuss these projects?
Well, right now, I mean, I don't know. Again, I've been very clear from the very beginning to the chairman as it relates to me that unless we're talking about countywide public transportation, we're not interested in a countywide T-SPLOST. We have to deal with the issue. And the issue is that if we're going to be an equitable city, an equitable community, then it should be accessible by everybody, not just those who have cars. And so when we talk about, you can't talk about you can't talk about transportation, but then not talk about public transportation. And so to me, it is part of the same. And so we always have a list. We have a list of projects. You know, we do this all of the time, looking at what our goals are. But we'll look at alternate ways of funding those. It is about time that the entire community takes on the cost of serving the entire community. And for too long, the city of Savannah has carried that on our shoulders. And we're not doing that anymore. I mean, we're either going to be a part of a community or we're going to be part of a community. And so, you know, sorry that the meeting didn't really go the way we thought it should have gone. We really thought we were walking in to learn that we had a understanding between other municipalities that public transportation was a go. At that point, you know, again, we have a capital list of projects, you know, all over the community. It didn't happen, and I think the city manager did a good job of articulating the city's position. Alderman Palumbo, Alderwoman Shabazz did a good job of articulating where we were with it. And I think the other municipalities, in terms of talking about the timing of this, really understand where we are in that. So obviously we're open to communication, but my personal position, unless we're talking about public transportation, I'm not supporting it.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
When do you anticipate making a final decision about the St. Patrick's Day parade?
I don't know. I have not gotten that date. I've asked the parade committee for a drop-dead date for them. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, if the numbers dictate otherwise, then, you know, the plug could be pulled. Again, the trends don't look that way, and so you know, I'm probably a little hesitant to really say a date because we want people to remain vigilant. I don't want them to say, okay, well, we're past this date, we can get out there, because as we know, those spikes can jump up at any time. So I don't have a date yet, but I will tell you that we have been working with the St. Patrick's Parade Committee, understanding that they've been absolutely wonderful partners to us. been totally engaged in the process. They understand the position we're in. They also want to make sure they have a safe experience, and so we'll continue to work. We're talking at least weekly, and then with some of our teams talking daily.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Is there a date, though, that you really do have to make a decision on St. Patrick's Day Parade to get everybody in order and get volunteers, get the permits, and get this and get that, and police ready for traffic and this, that, and the other?
Our police department stays in a constant state of readiness. So I think that, there's a template by which they can carry that out. So I think that we're preparing for it. And if we need to pull a plug, then we're prepared to be able to do that.
And the last question is, what do you mean? Did you elaborate? You said you wanted a more family-friendly reset because the past events didn't represent the city.
Absolutely. I think that, again, St. Patrick's Day has morphed into Drunk Fest. And that's not Savannah. I think that everyone from the St. Patrick's Day Committee, Parade Committee, to our partners at the riverfront and City Market, downtown, to our residents. I mean, I'm out during St. Patrick's Day and I see people laying in the streets. I mean, I don't want their experience with Savannah to be intimate connection with our sidewalk. And I think we have to really determine, and it's a good opportunity because we haven't had the parade, to really look at what we want our celebration to be. What do we want this observance to be? Again, the parade is one thing. What happens after the parade is something different. And I know parents who don't feel very comfortable bringing their kids downtown during that time. I'll go further and say it's not a very inclusive experience. Residents don't want to take a part in what's happening, and I think that's unfortunate. Also, if you look, you don't see the total sum of our community. You don't see minority business participation. So I think, when we look at how this whole thing goes, I believe all of our partners are consistent in the thought that we can do different, we can do better, and so they have been working together well over a year now to say, how do we reimagine what this experience looks like? And so I'm really grateful to our partners, both in business and the tourism areas and city staff that are helping to be able to help to reimagine what that looks like. And this year would be a very good year. It falls on a Thursday, so it gives us an opportunity really to experiment with some things. And it helps us to also maintain public health and safety. So we'll be tinkering. This will definitely be different. It will definitely be different. But again, it allows us the springboard to be able to create a better experience for not only our residents, but also our guests here. We're not going to be the spring break, where people come. I came to Savannah, but I don't remember what happened. It's like the hangover, SAV. We don't want that. It's like, looking at pictures afterwards. What? We did that? I mean, we again, we love our city. We respect our city. We want others to respect our city. And we want them to come here and we want them to enjoy the experience. The question is, what does the experience look like? And so there are people that are far more engaged in that part of it that are helping to work that out in a way that makes it still awesomely fun, but then phenomenally safe. That's it? All righty. Well, we're back in the saddle. I think tomorrow is it 10 o'clock? All right. Huh?
We'll put something out.
All right, so we'll put that out, and then we'll ask some more of your questions about St. Patrick's. Again, Chief Mentor is here, but I'll tell you he has nothing really to add unless you want him anyway to say he has nothing to add. No? Okay. All right. May God bless you all. May God bless the city of Savannah.